Hey, it's nutritionist and sustainable weight loss expert Trisha Manis here. If you just saw me like pout, I thought it's because it wasn't working, but it is. We're live on Facebook. So I am here to share some of the most inspirational, transformational health and nutrition information that I have personally ever received in this 4-part video training series. Now, full disclosure, I have my laptop and notes right in front of me, so I might be looking down from time to time, but that's only because I don't want to miss any important information to share with you. So in this video training series, you're going to learn how it's possible to turn your life around, turn your health around specifically, even if you've already tried a bunch of different things, so you can really focus on being the best you possible. Now, I know when you fall asleep at night, your body might hurt a little bit, and there are things that you dream of doing, climbing a rock wall, hiking all day with your family, that just aren't possible for you right now. And I know that that's in your heart what you really want to accomplish. So my hope is to give you inspiration and to let you know that that's really possible in this 4-part video series. Now, this is video 2 of that series. Video 1, which you can access in the link above this video, I shared a few days ago. I talked about what is actually possible. I talked about how Larry, someone that I work with while I was at the University of South Carolina, his doctor freaked out after he saw the transformation that he had gone through and pulled all the nurses into the room to see, how did you just lose your belly and you're not on your medication anymore? And then that doctor started referring other patients to me, and I talk about in the first video Virginia, who was one of those people that was referred to me, who after 3 weeks of just changing her diet, her debilitating rheumatoid arthritis and lupus pain disappeared, almost completely disappeared, and she lost, I believe, 20 pounds in just 2 months from working together. So I want you to know that this is possible, because if you don't know if it's possible, how are you going to be motivated or think that you can actually change your life? So make sure you go watch video number 1. Now, this right here is video number 2, and we are talking about the how you can get these results for yourself, the process that I actually take my clients through myself. So before I dive into that process, I want to talk to you about 2 amazing superstars that are in the program. And these results are not unheard of by any means, but when you really throw yourself into the program, this is what can happen. So I want to talk to you about Sara. Now, she's 33 years old, and I know she doesn't mind sharing her story because you can find it on my client success page if you click the link above this video or scroll down below, whether you're watching this on Facebook or on the actual web page. But she talks about it in a video, so you can hear it from her words as well. But before she met me, she was feeling depressed, exhausted, carrying a lot of extra weight that was holding her back physically. She couldn't walk up more than a few flights of stairs. She couldn't pack her car for work without feeling out of breath. And she talks about how on the outside she was pretending that everything was okay, and she was exerting all this emotional energy pretending that she was fine. And then she'd go home at night and almost kind of collapse and just be so exhausted that she could just like relieve herself and just be where she really was, which was in a lot of pain. So her and I got on a call together. We talked on the phone. I wanted to see if I could actually help her or not. And she decided to join the program. So within 3 months, she's lost 28 pounds, but that wasn't even her MO. She just wanted to feel better and to be healthier because she was in a lot of pain. She also had an injury, so she wasn't even able to exercise during this time. So if you are thinking to yourself, I can't lose weight because I can't exercise, that's not the low-hanging fruit. That's not the most important thing. So I talk about that in the other video if you want to hear more about that. But she no longer is in such physical pain. She also, now we got her to the point where she's at a physical therapist. She can work on the injury because she can move a lot better now after having lost that weight. But all of this is without calorie counting. There's no portion control. There's no crazy dieting type thing. And most people that go through the program say, I have never stuck with changes this long in my life. And the food tastes good. That's really important, because if the food tastes good, then you're never going to do it for a long time. So I also want to share another story with you. this is from Kathy, and she was doing the paleo diet for years before she came to me and was still stuck. She saw a little bit of success, but still had a lot of extra weight to lose, was struggling with some digestive issues, which makes complete sense when you're following paleo, especially for a long time, and a few other things. And she just wasn't happy. And she was friends with a few participants that were in the research study that I led at the University of South Carolina that as a couple radically turned their health around. And she was like, what did you do? So her and I hopped on the phone as well. And this is what Kathy had to say. It's been 7.5 weeks since I've signed up and I've already lost almost 15 pounds. I'm very healthy with my results and my progress so far. Her digestion has improved and her husband said that this is one of the best investments that she has ever made. So yay for supportive spouses. Even if you don't feel like you have a supportive spouse, then it doesn't mean that you can't do this either, okay? So she says she's learned a lot of new information. She's 66 years old, so it doesn't mean that you can't lose weight if you've been through menopause. That also is not something that should be holding you back either. So I want to take you now through the process. Hi, Sarah. I want to take you through the process that I take my clients through to help them turn their health around so you can have a better understanding of what it is you can do for yourself as well. So the very first thing that happens when I'm working with someone is we come up with their unique optimal eating plan. What the heck is that? What's the unique optimal eating plan? So this is a plan that we put together to, one, make sure that you're going to reach the goals that you want to achieve, but also that it works for your unique lifestyle. Because if it doesn't work for how busy you are, Sarah says, I'm loving this video series. Sarah, thanks for tuning in. I love that you're here. So we have to make sure that it fits for your unique lifestyle at the same time, because if it doesn't, it's just not going to work long-term, and sustainable, long-term, maintainable results is what I am all about. I'm not about quick fixes. I'm not about detoxes. I won't do that shit with anybody because I want long-term, really effective health changes for people. So we have to make sure that it's going to help you get the results you want to get. So it has to be effective. It has to taste good. Okay, so I'm not about forcing you to eat foods that you don't like to eat, because there's so many out there that you just don't have to do that. And again, we have to make sure that it fits for your unique lifestyle. I'm not trying to put your unique, beautiful self into a box and make you fit into a box. Rather, I like to think that we are custom wrapping you and making this plan fit to the awesome, unique person that you are, okay? So that's the first thing that happens. Now, there's no calorie counting, there's no portion control, there's no weighing of food, you don't have to count points. If you start to count calories in the program, I'm going to tell you to stop. And if you keep doing that, there's a chance that you will be asked to leave the program, because in the system that we work in, it's the complete wrong focus and it's not going to help you, because then you start thinking about a number and you're not thinking about the quality of the food that's really going to help you get to where you want to go. So it's just like the wrong mindset in this work that we're doing. So you might be wondering, okay, well, if I can eat whenever I want, I can eat as much as I want. How is this actually going to work to help me to shed pounds and improve my health? So I ask my clients to eat foods that are the most nutrient dense possible on the planet, meaning they have the most nutrition per volume or pound of food, okay? So that's also how we simultaneously improve health, prevent disease, and in some cases reverse disease at the same time, because we're just not eating Snickers bars all day long, even if you're adding vitamins to that. Taking supplements is different than getting vitamins from food, okay? So we're eating the most nutrient-dense foods that exist on the planet. Simultaneously, we are eating the food groups that are the lowest in calorie density, meaning the least amount of calories per volume of food or pound of food. So at the same time, you're going to get to eat more food. It's healthier for you, but at the same time, you're actually eating a lesser amount of calories than you were before you started the program with me. Okay, so you might get to eat more food than you were, but you're actually going to be eating less calories. And the third really important piece of this is that we structure your plate to ensure that you feel full and satiated. This is huge, and the trio of these three things, high in nutrient density, low in calorie density, and feeling full, that's where the magic happens. Because what do you stop doing when you feel full? What do you stop doing when you feel full? You're eating, and then you feel full. What do you stop doing? You stop eating, okay? So the foods that we have you eat, a lot of Americans don't know what true satiation feels like, the feeling of fullness in their gut. And that's because when you're eating a more standard American diet, what happens is you stop eating not because you feel pleasantly full and you feel good. Most people feel sick. And that's what causes them to stop eating. That's like or things are going to get bad. Here, it's a pleasant fullness. You don't feel like crap. You can go on a walk. It feels good. And that causes you to stop eating. So you're eating really healthy food. It's low in calories. And it's forcing you to stop eating at the right time, naturally. It's like God or the higher universe created this perfect system. And it just works, and that's exactly what it is, okay? So those are the things we dive into in the unique optimal eating plan, all right? So the next step I put my clients through, and sometimes these steps go in different orders for different people. One person might be in one step longer than another person. Again, that's because we're tailoring it to the person. We're not forcing you into a box, okay? So pillar number 2 is called optimal eating habit formation. So this is where we focus on all the lifestyle habits you need to adopt and then maintain and enjoy in order to implement and stick with your optimal eating plan long term. Okay, so if you travel, how are you going to do this while traveling? If you are in a hotel room 4 nights out of the week, if you are responsible for cooking for your whole family, if you don't like eating breakfast, all of these different types of things, this is what we dive into for your unique self to make sure that even if something may be hard with the eating plan at first or something's really easy, you and I have constant feedback together, and sometimes we dance at the same time to make sure that you can implement it in your life and really enjoy it. Again, it's all about long-term sustainable results, so that's what we focus on. Pillar number 3, Philly. Surprise! Here's Philly! Pillar number 3 is called non-food barrier removal. That's why I keep saying barrier, because I'm prepping here. Okay, so non-food barrier removal. So when it comes to radically improved health, turning your health around, and sustainable weight loss, the food is by far the most important piece for numerous reasons, okay? But what we don't want to happen is we do such a good job with your food and you get results, and then there's something non-food related that comes along and could potentially deter all of that progress. That's what we don't want to happen. Or on the flip side, some other non-food things can really propel your progress at the same time. So exercise is a good example. Even though you can lose 30 pounds without exercising, especially if you have a lot of weight to lose. If you don't, then that's going to be slightly more challenging, but definitely not possible. So you start to get the weight off. You start to feel better. Now you're at the place where you actually can exercise. So then we want to make sure that we get you hooked up in a system where you really enjoy the exercise. It's actually going to be effective. If you have an injury, it's not going to make the injury worse, or we get the injury taken care of first, okay? So we want the exercise to propel you forward. Something that can really hold people back, especially, and this is one of the biggest things I think that people really aren't aware of, is certain drugs, certain medical tests, and diagnostic testing. Some of it can be harmful, some of it is just completely useless, and these conversations with your doctor about, you go to the doctor and then they tell you that you have pre-osteoporosis and you need to go on an osteoporosis drug, which has actually been shown to increase fracture risk. So to give an awful example is we do an amazing job changing your diet. You take a DEXA scan, which is a useless test, and you get a bone mineral density reading that says that you have pre-osteoporosis, even though bone mineral density is not actually associated with fractures. Okay, so then they put you on this really harmful drug and you're walking down the street and then all of a sudden your femur cracks in half. Your leg just breaks from walking down the street, most likely because of the drug. So what we want to make sure of is that your whole health and is taken care of. Stress, sleep, exercise, and that at the same time that you are making the most evidence-based and beneficial decisions when it comes to your health in all different areas. So for the people that need help with that, I coach them with that. If all I need to do is take some probiotics and exercise, and then that's what we work on. It depends on the person because everyone is unique and awesome. All right, the fourth pillar is called fine-tuning. So once you got the fundamentals down and you are kicking butt and you are starting to shed some pounds and you're feeling better and you can get to the place where you're moving and this is like second nature, then if there's fine-tuning adjustments we can do to propel you towards those results and enjoy the process even more and more quickly, then we're going to do that, okay? In the beginning, the things that aren't the most important are not the things I'm going to ask you to focus on. So once you got the most important things done and we can work towards doing other things now that you got the foundations down, then we're going to do that there too. And the reason we do that is because if we don't, sometimes one little tiny thing can completely sabotage us, which we don't want to happen. So it's a constant feedback loop with my clients and I of how are things going? Question about this, something comes up, this is working, this, okay, maybe we have to adjust this in order to make sure that progress is continuous all the time. And the fifth pillar is called sustainability plan. So my goal is that by the end of our time together, that you are 110% able to continue to do this on your own. Because this is about long-term, sustainable, enjoyable, and effective results. This is not a 30-day detox. I hate that stuff. It drives me freaking nuts. Because people end up being exactly where they were, or even worse, just later down the line. So this is about you getting healthier, stronger, leaner, feeling better, being the best you possible. That's what a lot of people tell me that they want. It's not about fitting into a bikini. And it's not about looking like a size 2 model. It's about feeling good with who they are. So this is a process and something that my clients will have for the rest of their life that they can take with them and they will have with them. So this is about long-term sustainable results. That is what Trishy is all about. All right, now let's see what's up on my list. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, you may be thinking, well, I don't like to cook. I can't do this because I don't like to cook. You probably really don't sound like that. I hope you don't really sound like that. But I don't like to cook either. I've been doing this for 9 years. So again, the goal is for this to fit your unique lifestyle. The goal is not for me to fix you into a box and force you to cook gourmet meals for 2 hours every night, because it's not going to work then. The goal is whatever we need to do in order for this to be a long-term thing is what we're going to do. So I had one patient who just graduated who had Friedreich's ataxia. She was in a wheelchair. She could not cook. She physically did not have the physical skills and abilities to even open and close a microwave. And she was in a really stressful, challenging time in her life. Her husband at that time was diagnosed with lung cancer, and so he was not in a place to help her with food either. Such an amazing, amazing woman, Ginny. So honestly, her and her family, it was just putting stuff, super, super, super simple stuff in the microwave, because life was really intense at that time, and it didn't make sense for them to be making optimal lasagnas and optimal pizzas and things like that. It was just like, we need to get the right food into Jenny, and we need it to be as quick and effective as possible. So that's exactly what we did, and she dropped over 2 dress sizes, and she says, I have more control over my life than I ever have in a really long time. And she emailed me and she said, thank you for helping me get my life back. Even when her husband was in the process of passing away, this is when she wanted to do it. One, she wanted to show him that she was going to be okay and she could take care of herself. And she needed it because no one else put foods in your mouth other than you. There is not one thing that you have more control over in your life than the food that you put into your mouth. So if you have control over that and all the shit around you is messed up and family's crazy and your job is really stressful and you know your pets or whatever, you don't have control over those things or other people, but you do have control over what you put in your mouth. And once you learn and understand how you can do that in a way that makes your life better, that you love and that works, it can be one of the best things in your life. And personally, for myself, it has been for me. So, rant over there. Okay, so in the next video, it's coming out in 2 days. So make sure that you are following me on Facebook, or you go to the link above this, bit.ly/Mandes, MANDES1. You can catch the first video there, and you can see way more stories from clients that I've worked with. You can watch a video from Sara herself and hear what she has to say about this process and how it has been for her. But in the next video, I'm going to talk about what it would be like for you to implement this and go through this experience yourself. I want you to know that this is possible for you. Okay? I want to give you hope and inspiration and motivation that you can change your life if you want to. If you don't want to, then that's a whole nother story. I hope you're enjoying the show. But I really want people to know that they can do this and that it's fun and it tastes good and it's a long-term thing. Okay? One other objection you might have is, I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail again because I've tried a lot of times. This is what I would say to you about that. Is you fail the moment you stop trying. That's when you fail. Another time you fail is if you keep trying the same shit that hasn't been working again. So you have to learn from past lessons. If you don't learn from past lessons, I still give you kudos for trying, but it's not the right decision, okay? Don't keep trying things that have left you where you are now, okay? And just know that if you stop trying, that is when you fail. So trying again and trying something new is success. Now, it's radical success if it works and you choose the right person and who has the right plan. So I always encourage you to ask a lot of questions before you hire anybody, okay? You always want to make sure it's evidence-based more than anything else, okay? Not just, it worked for my friend and it worked for me. That's not evidence, okay? That's a recipe for potential disaster. So all my stuff is evidence-based. You can pick my brain about that as much as you want, and I encourage you to, especially if we're on a call, okay? I practice what I preach. All right. Comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I can help you with. Tell me. If you don't tell me, I can't help you. So let me know what you learned from this video if you want me to talk about other things. Also, I'm starting a Facebook group soon, a public Facebook group, so keep an eye out for that, because then I will be sharing lots of tips and tricks. That kind of sounds bad. So, Trishy loves you. It's snowing outside right now, so I'm super happy. All right, have an awesome, awesome day. Please comment. Let me know what you think.